Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Unemployed to Unstoppable with Cove Rangers up in the north of Scotland. We're just going to get into transfer window, so there's a few players gone out. We've made a few signings, we've played a few friendlies and one of the initial rounds of the Cup. We'll catch up on where we are and why we made the changes we did in terms of personnel, and then we'll see how we get on at the start of the first full season in charge of Cove. And the first thing during the transfer window really is to look at the released players. First of all, Michael Doyle. He was a bit of an aging centre-back / right-back. He played about 4 games for us last season. But at 34 years old and with the wages he was on, we just wanted to kind of move him on, let him go. His contract was due renewal, so we've let him slide out the door. So that's the first of 4 that we've let go out to free some wage budget. So that's one. We also have to do this every single time. The second one was, well, I'll probably do it through here then. Grady McGrath, again, 24-year-old. He'd been out on loan. His contract was due renewal. Didn't really see a place for him because we don't play an advanced midfielder, and he's not getting in up front, so I thought it was probably best to let him go. Mackenzie Strachan, a defensive midfielder, contemplated trying to keep him. However, I thought it's probably better just to release him from the club and try and strengthen with some free transfers in them positions. And then finally, Jack Robertson, young goalkeeper, again, let him go because he didn't really have a high potential threshold. In terms of the players that came in then, if we just sort out by all, I think you'd seen us up to a point where Vitols came in. Following that, we've brought in Kyle Turner, again, central midfielder, 28-year-old Scot, comes in with 3.5-star current ability, and he's slotted right into the team pretty nicely. You could see down the bottom that in the Premier Sports Trophy, which we've used, or the Premier Sports Cup we've used as some of our friendlies, he's got 3 goals in 4 games. So you can see he's very much hit the ground running, slotted into our midfield nicely, and I'll take you through the friendlies and fixtures as we go through. But in terms of strengthening the key area, I think, is that centre of the park where you dominate the ball. One really good signing there from the word go in Turner. Into the rest of the ones that we got towards the end of the season. Aidan Taylor, we've got in on loan from Celtic, so we've got a right back. Again, he's looking fairly handy as well. 4-star current ability at a wing back. Some really good stats in there as well. Quite good from a physical point of view. Not so good in that kind of set piece area, but in terms of the stats he needs, teamwork, work rate, and tackling, coupled with his physical attributes, he's going to be pretty good for us, I think, a right back. So we're only 18-year-old in on loan. Another shrewd signing. Following that, we got Ali Gilchrist. No, we didn't. Sorry, what? Kai Kennedy. So Emsley left, who was on loan. He played left wing for us last season. With him going back on loan, we spent a whopping £2,700 on Kai Kennedy from Queen of the South. Again, looks pretty good. He's reasonably physical. His technical's all right. He's got a little bit of finishing in there at 11. Off the ball and flair is quite good as well. Again, 3 goals in 4 games from the start of the season. So very much like our central midfielder, we've got another good left winger coming in and hitting the ground running fairly early on. So that's 2 quick, really good signings. And then this next one, Alex Ferguson, brought in at central midfielder on a free agent. Again, his stats look pretty good, coming in at 3.5-star in the centre of the park. We're playing him in the defensive midfield role, so we're playing him slightly deeper because I think we need someone in there just to get the ball back and distribute it to the midfielders. So, again, that's 2 really good central midfielders we brought in there alongside a left winger and a right back. So, again, straight away, really looking to strengthen in the areas we require. In terms of transfers out this season, so 26-27, because it makes a distinction when it splits. We've just basically put players out on loan. So most of them players that came in on loan, so like Lancelot Bailey, Rhys Ross, I won't do it again, King Bailey, Jardine, Hutchison, just getting them young players out on loan. Certainly the ones that were 16 or over, I've tried to get out on loan to get them some game time. Whether they do or don't, we'll see as the season goes on, but I think that's probably best for their development. In terms of the other signings coming into the club, Joseph McGrath, free agent. Again, centre half, coming in, 19 years old. Again, quite physical. He's got tackling, marking and heading, which is really key for us. And he's 188 centimetres tall as well. So as in terms of someone who's young, upcoming, who can be with us for a number of years, I think can maybe even come up with us if we get promoted. I think that's a really good sign, and that's kind of the sign I want to make long term. Current ability 3 stars, but he's got some growth in him as well to develop with the club as we move forward. So I think that's probably one of the better signings we've got, actually. Robert Rashwal, we brought in as a free agent. I think he got released by Celtic, so we brought more on his potential than we have on anything else. Current 2-star, but he's up to 3.5-star, maybe more in terms of potential. So the young Paul will come and just sit in and around the squad. We'll give him some game time. He's only 19, and again, I think in that position as a rotational option, maybe playing in some of the easier games, perhaps. We'll get him in and see how we can develop him until our own crop of youngsters come through. And then finally, Kieran Gilligan. He was worth 40,000, and they were trying to get rid of him down in England. So we bid 0. They accepted the bid, which I was very surprised about, and we've brought him in as another midfield option. So that's 3 really good, high-quality midfielders. I think we've brought in there 3.5-star current, up to 4.5-star potential ability. And he's got a smile on his face, so he's obviously going to play really well. So he's only made 1 appearance. He was injured when he first came in, but we'll get him in and around the team and see how we move going forward. So that's all the incomings and outgoings. In terms of the squad size itself, 26 players. I've got a couple of players listed that we want to move on. So I'm trying to move on Robbie Much. Who else is in there? Declan Glass is a frustrating one. He doesn't want to play for us anymore. He's considered as an option at the end of his contract, but he's also said he wants to move now as well. So we might look and see if we can cash in on that £12,000 value on him, see if we can recoup some funds for growth moving forward. Although if he does stay, I'd like him to stay in the squad because he's a really good player. Who else do we want? Gone Justin Egwebar, the centre-half. Again, he's current 2-star, potential 3. I just think we have some better options, and I think we've got some younger, higher potential players coming through the youth system. So probably he's not going to get many games, so let's see if we can cash in on him and at least get something for him and move him on. And then finally, Michael Halloran, the 35-year-old winger. Again, he's still quite pacey. You can use him as a squad rotational. I'm not openly pressing to get him out the door or chasing him down through offering out to clubs, etc. But we've just listed him, and if someone comes in with an offer and gets that £460 per week off the wage budget, we'll probably just accept it and let it go. What that all means then in terms of the, and if I can find it, the squad planner, which I've been through and plumbed in all the figures, is this is where we sit really. Is we're currently sat with a reasonably good goalkeeper and a backup, but I think long term we'll get someone out of the youth system to sit on the bench. So goalkeeper sorted. Left back, we've got Ryan Harrington, who played there last season. He is listed. We have got some young players coming through. Flynn Duffy's one of those. We might integrate into the squad. Liam Parker less so, but it might be an area that if we get an opportunity through the transfer window, building up to the close of the window, we might bring someone in there. I've been told that we're in a bit of a windowless league as well, so I might chance my arm in trying to bring some people in just as and when that opportunity arises. In terms of right back, we've got Aidan Taylor coming in from Celtic. We've got Cameron Rowley, had quite a good end to last season, and Bisland as well. So we're quite strong back there. However, Rowley and Bisland are both wanted by clubs. I have said Bisland can go if they meet the 12,000 release clause he's got. That would mean Rowley would probably stay, just to give us a bit of cover in there until the youth prospects get up to speed. In terms of centre-half, Joseph McGrath, the new signing, he's our best. We've got Aaron Darge, Ali Gilchrist, Liam Parker is the next best 3 in there. And then Aguibar, who we've got listed, would be the 5th. But I think we'll very much just run on the 4. Defensive midfield-wise, Alex Ferguson is to sit in there as a kind of defensive midfielder to win the ball back. We've got Fraser Fivey. He can be there as a reserve option. And then Mikey Milnes, who played there last season, still in there to kind of develop. Although if a bid came in, we'd probably let him go. In terms of the flat midfielders, and it's the same for both of them really. We've got Carl Turner's going to play on the right-hand side. Declan Glass probably on the left-hand side. We've got Kieran Gilligan in there as well. And then the rest of them, like Yule, who was here last season, and Rashwell, if he gets an opportunity, can float around in there. So midfield, they're really starting to look like the strongest part of the team now. Out on the right-hand side, Lewis McGrattan, who had a good season last year. We don't really have anyone up and coming behind him. And Michael Halloran will kind of understudy both sides. But I think Lewis McGrattan, who had a really good season last season when he came in, will just carry on out there. On the left-hand side, Kai Kennedy, he's come in and he's slotted in nicely. What it means is we've got a little bit more room in terms of loans as well. So if we do get a couple of loans, especially from one of our affiliate clubs, which we can do for relatively cheap deals, we might bring some other players in as we go. Potentially in the fullback positions, maybe a centre half and perhaps a deputy on the wing, but that'd be the three I'd kind of look for. And then up top, Joe McGlynn, he came in last season, didn't really hit the ground running. Mitch Megerson was still outscoring him. However, at the start of this season, he's starting to come into his own. Last year, he won the Worst Transfer of the Season award, which I find quite offensive because I think he looks like a really good player. He just hadn't got going yet. However, when you look at him, he's already got a goal this season. He's made 4 appearances. He's playing slightly better. He's only 23, so let's just give him the benefit of doubt in a run of games and see how he gets on in terms of that. When we get into the fixtures of where we've been so far, again, friendlies played. We had a 5-1 win at Brecon. McGlynn with 2 goals, McGrattan with 1, and Kennedy in a 5-1 victory. So there must have been an own goal in there somewhere. Then a 5-0 win against Morpeth. McGrattan with 2, McGlynn with 2, and Kennedy with 1. So that's 3 of the signings we made since we came in here, featuring quite heavily across both them 2 games. That rolled into when we started the Premier Sports Cup. So we had a game against St Johnstone. So we beat them 4-0 away, which is a phenomenal result. Declan Glass getting 2, Kai Turner with sorry, it's not Kai Turner. I think it's Kieran Turner and McGlynn. And then Kai Kennedy getting a goal in a 2-0 win against Arbroath. And then we got beat by Inverness Cally Thistle 2-0. That was a game they very much dominated. And then finally into the final game against Kelty Hearts, we won 3-0, which put us into the next round. 2 goals for Kai Kennedy, 1 goal for, and I will confirm his name for you, Kyle Turner. Has seen us really start the season well as we get into the first games of the season. So I'll now get away and start the first few games of the season. I'll bring in some highlights for you as we play. Hopefully we can get some competitive goals along the way and have a really good start to the season, because I think, unlike last season where we took over part way, I think we've got a really good chance of making up the top end of the table. And before I get into that, I'll very quickly just show you the season preview, because they've got us odds on second at 6-5. Adrionians, who've come from the top, are 1-91, which is, it's ridiculous odds. But we'll see. We'll see how we get on with the first few games of the season. So stick around. I'll be back shortly, and hopefully we'll have some points on the board. And we've managed to secure 3 points in the opening game of the season. It was a long time coming before Blair Yule finally got us a goal on 84th minute, following a layoff by Kyle Turner. Absolutely dominant performance, miles better than for the huge bulk of the game. There was a couple of changes. McGrattan didn't have a particularly great game on the right-hand side, hence why Yule ended up out there. Glass came on because we weren't doing too well in the centre midfield, and Megerson came on as well. So 3 subs came on and kind of rescued the game to a degree. We were still dominant, 22 shots to their 8, 10 on target to their 3. And albeit we didn't have the possession, we were the dominant of the 2 sides. So a good start, 3 points on the board. Let's see where we can take it from here, and see if we can score any screamers and good goals along the way. Just a quick point of note on the game while we're in here. There's been a lot of heat about FM26 this year and in the interface, and people not particularly loving it. I'll be honest, when I first seen it and I seen the way the inbox was laid out, I wasn't too sure. But I actually quite like the way that you can separate the tasks from the unread messages and work your way through them. So that's something that I think is actually a good thing. I normally come into the unread messages and I can step through them one at a time and see if there's anything needed in there. But more importantly, if there's any tasks or actions that you actually have to carry out, they're all listed on that left-hand side. I'm getting used to a lot of the interfaces along the top. I mean, the main ones I use, I like the portal screen. It's got pretty much everything I need to know on there. I occasionally dip into the squad screen. Albeit I don't look at too many of the right-hand side on this page, really. I'm predominantly just going into the actual senior squad itself. Match day I use occasionally, but only really for the tactics. So I think there's a few bits on here that are probably a bit redundant in some respects, because I don't think you're always going to click on everything that's on the screen. And I think some of these areas, like the first team, is duplicated between the match day and the squad page. So I think there is some duplication, but I don't dislike it. I think I'm getting used to it. Let me know what you all think as well, because it's a very subjective thing. I get there's a lot of rhetoric about it being made for console players. And do you know what? If it is, so what? I still think it's pretty good, and I'll continue to play it and enjoy it as we move forward. I think the most important thing for me is that the actual match engine itself looks a lot better, along with some of the graphics. But again, we'll keep going. 3 points on the board. Come on the Cove, and we'll see where we get to over the first 10 games. Good work in midfield as we recover against Queen of the South. Kyle Turner doing some good work in midfield, cutting into the box and firing across to the far side to net his first league goal for the club. Gets us back on level pegging. Lots of the second half to go. Let's see if we can get back and recover the points. And unfortunately, 2 late goals saw us fall to a 3-1 defeat away at Queen of the South in what was a fairly even game most of all. They had a few more shots on target than we did, but them 2 late goals, one from Laraf and one from Liam Smith, made it count and seen us fall to our first defeat of the season, which is sad to see, but we've got 8 games to recover before that 10-game point, so I will continue to get past the doom and gloom, back to reality with a bump, and see if we can turn things back into our favour. An additional signing just come in. We've taken Aaron Cummings on loan from Aberdeen for 6 months. Another central midfielder just to rotate through there. We're not having too much joy in the central midfield. We've got 3. We like to rotate them around a little bit, so we brought 1 more in just to make sure everyone's fit and fresh. Another couple of loan signings hopefully on the way soon. Looking at a left back and maybe a centre forward, but we'll see. But I'll keep you updated along the way. But Aaron Cummings comes in, central midfielder. Some reasonably good stats there, can come in that rotation. So if Glass does leave, we've got someone in there. So even if we don't use the loan players to the maximum potential, I think it's a nicety to have them there to boost the squad and enable the smart rotation. So let's see how they get on. Hopefully they're going to be a massive benefit. And we made 2 final signings before the end of the imaginary transfer window, as it turns out. One, Louis Selfridge from St Johnstone on a loan. Again, because they're an affiliate club, we can get them in for no wages, no fee. So it's a no-brainer, really. It's one of the areas we were kind of weak at left back. He comes in, again, really good physical stats, I think, in a lot of the lower leagues in Scotland. I think that's the main focus, really. And then topping up with a couple of attributes just in the right areas. So he's come in on a free. And then also finally Lewis Carroll coming from Aberdeen, a centre half, just to add a competitive edge in there. Again, pretty good physically, not as good as some of the other ones, not particularly pacey, but he's a big lad at 193 centimetres, and he's got some really good stats in the mental and the technical. So again, he's coming to bolster the numbers in that area. In terms of the start to the season, it's been fantastic, really. We'll just go through the fixtures. You'd seen before as we went through the Premier Sports Cup, following out when we got into the league. I mean, you'd seen that we'd been beat by Queen of the South and we had a 1-0 win at Stirling. But following that, in terms of the KDM Trophy, beat St Johnstone Reserves, got beat by Hibs in the Premier Sports Cup, dumped us out straight away. In terms of the league, though, we've had quite a few wins. Beat Stenhousemuir, a draw with Arbroath, beat Alloa, beat East Kilbride, a draw with Adrionians, beat East Fife comfortably 5-1, a 3-3 draw with Peterhead. Which I think we were we winning that game? I thought we were. Oh no, we've come back and equalised in the end to make it 3-3. So I think we went 1 down, 2-1 up, 2-2, 3-2 down. So a bit of a topsy-turvy game. And then we beat Queen of the South in the last league game. So 10 games into the season, things are looking pretty good. I think if we can get the league table up, and this is the bit I'm not too great at yet. But there you go, there's League 1. Played 10, won 6, drawn 3, lost 1. That one game was against Queen of the South. Scored 16 goals, so not as many as Adrionians, but we're a bit tighter in defence. I think what you can say about us is we only really win by the odd goal. I know we had that freak 5-1 victory, but we tend to just win by the odd goal here and there. Currently a point clear after 10 games, so that's a really fantastic start to the season. Looking at the squad and the players, because you'll be keen to see how the players that we've signed so far have been getting on. Let's look at them. So in terms of the most appearances, no surprise, Balint Demas, the goalkeeper. And then Joe McGlynn, who isn't from this transfer window, we signed him at the tail end of last season. He's got 9 goals in 19 games so far. So although not a signing for this season, I think you can agree that he's got the right mental stats. He's still quite good physically. He's maybe just not got the finishing we need to get the goals required. However, he's got quite a few goals so far this term. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll keep playing him, see how he gets on. In terms of a top goal scorer, Kai Kennedy, who came in the summer. Again, a very cheap fee, replacing Emsley on that left-hand side. Again, I mean, nothing spectacular about his stats, but he is delivering the business. 9 appearances in the league and 3 goals. In the Premier Sports Cup, he's got 3 goals after 5 games. So he's hit the ground running, really, and I think on that left-hand side, he's first name on the team sheet, and I don't think anyone's really going to challenge him for a position in there this year. In terms of assists, Kai Kennedy as well, but notably Lewis McGrattan, again, came in towards the tail end of last season. Again, not spectacular in terms of stats, but he's creating some goals, and he's doing his bit on the right-hand side. We probably could do with something a little bit better on that right-hand side, but I think for the season we should be able to make do with Lewis McGrattan. In terms of the other players who are in there, if we look at the average ratings, I mean, Liam Parker and Micah Halloran are outliers because they've only had a couple of games each, but Kai Kennedy having a good season. Ali Gilchrist came in towards the end of last season at centre-half. Lewis Carroll and Louis Selfridge, they're both averaging above the 7s in on loan from St Johnstone and Aberdeen respectively. Declan Glass, he's had a few sporadic appearances, trying not to play him too much because he wants away. Kyle Turner doing well in midfield. Joseph McGrath again came in tail end of last season. So I think so far so good. Performances are looking great. The results are looking pretty great as well. We're still in a couple of the trophies. I think when we go back to that fixture list, we're still in the KDM? The KDM Evolution Trophy. We've got Kelty Hearts in the next round, is it? Or is it a next? Oh, so it goes into some kind of league phase of which we're currently second. So we've got Kelty Hearts to play, who are 5th, who can go past us. So I'd like to think we can hopefully get that game secure as a point. I think everyone down to 22nd must go into the next round. But we'll see how we do with that. But in terms of the transfer window, it's gone really, really well. We've strengthened in the right areas. We're one of the favourites to get promotion. I think Adrian is a still top favourite. If again I can get into the league page, just have a look at what the preview is. We're 6-5, they're 1-91, but we're currently a point ahead of them. So we just got to try and maintain good form, maintain some points in the league, and see where we are when it comes to Christmas time. So hopefully that gives you a good update on how the transfer window goes as we go into our first full season. I think we've made some really shrewd signings. 4 loans in now, so probably making maximum use of the players coming in on loan. A couple little free transfers, a little bit of a spend, but I think all in all the squad's taken shape quite well. I think we've got a central midfield 3 that's pretty handy, especially with Alex Ferguson sitting deep. And long may our good form continue. So I'll end it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed that as an update. And until next time, enjoy your football, enjoy your saves, enjoy your FM, and I'll see you soon.